اشرف والله كادر معدته.
كان بنفس التأكيدات بأنها ستمسح عن مقولة أبيها، ويجتمع نتنياهو ليقول لنا سنغير وجه الشرق الأوسط. أعتقد أن نتنياهو هو الإنسان المكسور المحزون، وليس كما كتبت الكثير من رؤساء الوزراء في إسرائيل النهاية السياسية بفعل المقاومة المبدعة في غزة ستكون نهايته بالتأكيد ربما على الأقل كما يقول الناس اليوم بعد هذه الضربة الكبيرة التي وجهتها له المقاومة الفلسطينية.
El nivel de ataque de Hamas sobre Israel se ha incrementado radicalmente en las últimas horas, dejando hasta el momento unos 600 muertos y miles de heridos por los bombardeos de misiles y drones de alta tecnología que caen sobre casi todo el país. Asimismo, los milicianos se mantienen dentro del territorio israelí, atacando ciudades cercanas a la frontera de Franja de Gaza, matando personas y llevándose a otros como rehenes. por cielo y tierra importantes ciudades y puntos militares estratégicos del país. Sin embargo, a estos constantes bombardeos desde el sur en la franja de Gaza, se le suma un nuevo ataque de la milicia de Hezbollah, otra organización militar enemiga de Israel que ha lanzado cohetes y proyectiles contra 3 regiones del norte. Dicho ataque es en solidaridad con la resistencia palestina y el Hamas, firmaron. En respuesta, el ejército israelí devolvió la ofensiva lanzando misiles a puntos militares estratégicos de Hezbollah durante el domingo. Mientras los actores políticos de Medio Oriente tienen posibilidades sobre la guerra entre Israel y Hamas, que aumenta la tensión de una escala del conflicto que puede involucrar a más países, como Irán, que ha apoyado la legítima defensa de Palestina. Es más, la autoridad palestina, que no tiene influencia en Gaza, ha defendido el derecho de Hamas de rebelarse, aunque países como Turquía han hecho un llamado a ambas partes a mediar pacíficamente. Sin embargo, la solución por el momento parece lejos de lograrse por la vía diplomática.
En medio de una incontrolable pelea, las balas corrieron y todo se sumió en el caos. Hombres y mujeres se agarraron a golpes afuera de una discoteca del centro de la ciudad de Chiclayo, que terminó en balacera. El local funciona frente a una institución educativa. Vecinos están hartos, pues aseguran que las situaciones de violencia se repiten cada fin de semana por parte de los asistentes de la discoteca.
Sí se escucha mucho, pues, las peleas, todas esas cuestiones.
Es porque están frente a una institución educativa y eso es peligroso para los estudiantes.
Todos los días toman ahí, está mal.
Increíblemente, en mayo de este año ya se había ordenado la clausura de la discoteca.
Sin embargo, ha seguido atendiendo, ha seguido generando desorden, inseguridad, sobre todo para los jóvenes que vienen pensando que es un sitio tranquilo y seguro, ¿cierto?
Tras lo sucedido, un patrullero vigila la zona. Los residentes solo esperan vivir con calma y que sus familias estén a salvo de este tipo de situaciones.
Cuida uno. Abajo la cabeza, abajo.
Los trajeron con la ilusión de vivir el sueño americano. Cruzaron el charco dejando atrás familia y amigos al otro lado del mundo y terminaron en las garras de una de las mafias de trata más peligrosas del mundo asiático.
yesterday, and we know that many of those are very, very serious. So we do believe that it is likely that the number of casualties could, of course, increase. And of course, there's no way not to mention the horror of dozens of Israelis who were taken as hostages, essentially.
Hablo y me escucho ahí.
there's no legitimacy for this kind of attack on civilians. The men and women and who were dragged into the Gaza Strip, I can see no justification for this. And we have all seen the horrific images and almost the disgusting pleasure that Hamas has taken in showing the abuse of these people, the desecration of human life. And it's something that is devastating for all of us. And there is no justification for this. These are civilians. These are people who did nothing, who are living their lives. And we, of course, are just devastated here in Israel. We are a small country. The degrees of separation that exist between the victims and the rest of the country are very few. And we anticipate that this will be a long process. We see challenging days ahead of us, and we really right now are in the midst of it as we speak. So it's a challenge that that certainly breaks all of our hearts. Thank you. I will leave it at that and be available for questions as well.
Thank you very much, Major. Sorry for giving you another title. We just been notified that the minister is on his way here, so it will take 1 more minute, and we'll wait for him just a second. Thank you for your patience. Yes, in a second. So I'm honored to present the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Israel, His Excellency Eli Cohen. He will give a short statement. Thank you for your time, Minister. We are here with 250 journalists from all over the world. The floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Israel is at war. We are in a war, and we did not choose to start this war, but we are facing a vicious terror organization, Hamas. I visited this morning our southern cities, Ashkelon, Netivot, Ofakim. I heard, and part of this you saw in the social media, what is actually been there. We saw a massacre, a brutal slaughter of civilians. We saw slaughter of children, women, teenagers that shot by gunshot like they were ducks. Entire families, mother, father, children, all of them together, that murder. It's an evil that not created even by the devil. I think that in the last decades, I don't think that we saw such scenes. Maybe only in ISIS, what they did. But here, it was not just when ISIS did it for men and women, but to take an 85 years old Holocaust survivor on a wheelchair to captive, even between the war between Russia and Ukraine, we did not saw murdering entire families, taking in captive small children and putting them in cages. It's vicious and evilness that I think that the world did not saw before. And I think that the only times that we saw it, it's only with the Nazis and maybe with the ISIS. Hamas is the proxy of Iran. Hamas executed an historical massacre that the world will not forget. When the time will pass, we will be able to see what everything is done. You know that it was a big party there of approximately 3,000 young youth, and they saw them coming with motorcycle, with cars, and take the guns and shooting them. Today, I saw that 20 young people decided,
A huge bin.
decided, 20 young people decided to get into, there is a
Trash
huge
bin.
a huge trash bin, and 20 young, when they run, after they shooting, they want to hide. So when they want to hide, they entered into this trash bin, and 20. And they've been there very quietly. And the terrorists come to one place and another, and they actually
Threw a grenade.
threw a grenade to this big trash bin. And then you see they come with the gunshot and shoot one by one. You see that in the people, when we have, since it was in the southern city, we have a lot of shelters, and people heard the rockets. So what they did, they entered into the small shelter. And when they enter into the small shelter, they come with the motorcycle.
And they threw a grenade.
And they threw a grenade into the shelter and then enter, and they make the gunshot. It was since that it was really evilness. And we saw it also, you know, in many other places. And I want to let you know that actually in the last years, we did a lot. Although Gaza is a small Palestinian state, they have a border with Israel, border with Egypt. We are not responsible to them. But we want as a neighbors to improve their life. So we all the time increase the number of the employees that come to work in Israel, although it was not our responsibility. We are not entitled. They have their own land. They don't have any Israeli in Gaza. There is no dispute in regards to the land of Gaza. We gave the Palestinian Gaza till the last millimeter. There is no dispute in regards to the land. We supply them water, electricity. We try to give them work to come to work in Israel. And this is something which we cannot describe in words. There's not words to describe what happened there, and therefore what was in the past will not be in the future. It's change from now on.
Estamos transmitiendo unas pequeñas
Israel will never
declaraciones del
forgive.
ministro de Israel.
Right now, there is more than 700 people that murder,
Más
that
de
slaughter,
7,000 personas muertas.
more than 100 people that took in captive.
Hay un montón de personas que han sido capturadas por
Children,
Hamas.
2
Niños
years old, 3 years old.
de 2, 3 años.
Now today we find 2 twins,
Hoy
10
encontramos
months years old,
dos gemelos
which
de
their
10,
parents
de 10 meses
murdered.
que sus papás han sido
And
asesinados.
it's take us time, since there are still terrorists in Israel, and we are
Y
still have
toca
some
tiempo para
locations where we are fighting in front of these terrorists. So it
pelear
take us
frente a
time.
estos terroristas.
And in some of the places we did not even have the time to take the bodies, since we need to deal with our frontal border, with our northern border. We need to deal with the location in Israel where there are terrorists. We need to protect the other places.
Necesitamos
So
mover
there
a
is
esos
some
terroristas.
apartment where we just arrived today and we did not cover all the places. And today to find two twins,
Y hoy encontramos a dos
10
gemelos
months years
de
old,
10 meses
sitting for more than a day, their mother and father dying,
que ambos padres
murdered
han
in
muerto,
front of them.
asesinados enfrente de ellos.
They start
Ellos iniciaron
kidnapping babies,
tomando a niños,
mothers,
a madres,
elderly people,
older people, gente mayor,
80 years old, 85 years old. They are monsters.
Ellos son
Inhuman
monstruos.
terrorists. They will
Son
have only
terroristas
one
humanos
wish,
que lo
to
único,
murder as
su
much
único
as they can.
alcance es matar.
We are in a really difficult time.
Estamos en un
And I want
momento
to thank the
crítico.
international community
Queremos mandar un mensaje a
for
la
their
comunidad,
solidarity.
mucha solidaridad.
We saw all the international community with their solidarity and the firm support of
Queremos dar
Israel.
un firme soporte
We
para
trust
para
this
ellos.
support will continue
Con ese soporte
as
nosotros
we
vamos a
meet the
continuar,
challenging of fighting terror. And it will take time.
vamos a
It will
continuar
not take few days. It will take a
defendiéndonos.
long
Nos va a
time.
tomar tiempo,
We cannot allow
pero no podemos permitir
ourselves
que esto nos pase a
to such
nosotros
inhuman
y que tal clase de
state. We
humanidad
cannot allow to the region. We cannot allow to the entire world. We cannot allow that in other places in the world to ever
no
seen
podemos
like this.
permitir que muchos lugares como
This is
estos vean
something that we
estas
should
cosas.
pay the price. And it's going to be a higher price.
Va a haber un alto precio
In order to verify and to ensure
para encontrar
that
y
one
determinar
who murdered entire family, the one who kidnapped elder people, that one who killing mother and children and left 2 twins 10 months years old, will pay the price.
para determinar que los
The
asesinos
people of Israel
de los dos gemelos de
stand
10
united.
meses y los padres paguen un precio.
Right now,
Por el momento,
see all the people, we see all our
vemos a todas estas
military
personas,
with
a los
more than
militares,
100% capacity.
dando su
There
mayor
is full of
capacidad
plans of
para
Israeli
defendernos.
around the world that asking to come back to Israel as soon as possible. People that are begging to have a flights in order
Muchas
to come to
personas
save the army.
están rogando por tomar
Since
aviones
they understand
y
that
para
we are
poder
today fighting for our home.
defenderse y
We are
defender al
fighting
país.
for our homeland. They don't want to live next to us. They want to destroy Israel. They have their own place. They receive billions of dollars in the world. Any normal people who receive billions of dollars from the world
Cualquier persona que vea millones de dólares por ahí debe invertirlo en hospitales. No tomar todo el dinero
to build rocket factory and to have weapon factory to slaughter people.
y crear empresas de drogas.
Land and there is no dispute in regard to this land. I want to assure you
Quiero asegurarles que vamos a determinar qué es lo que ha pasado, porque no hay ni otra opción. No tenemos otra opción. Hay un montón de israelíes de diferentes nacionalidades y otras personas de otras nacionalidades que están como rehenes. Le demandamos a Hamas que por favor suelten a todos los rehenes. Este acto no va a ser olvidado por parte de nosotros. Nosotros vamos a continuar demandando para poder encontrar qué es lo que ha sucedido. Una vez más quiero agradecer a todos los que están conectados en este Meet. Y quiero agradecer a la comunidad internacional por su solidaridad en estos tiempos difíciles.
Israel is the last frontier of the West. Israel is the last place when you go east, you will find terror organization. We are the only democracy, a real democracy in the Middle East. You know, you saw in the last weeks, months, years in Israel, you saw a lot of protests. Israel is the only place where you can see protests, since Israel is democracy. When people can say whatever they want in the social media and everything, and we are proud in our democracy, in our liberalism, in our pluralism, in our high-tech innovation. My ministry invests a lot in the world to bring hope in agriculture, in water management, to take our skills and capability to the world. But right now we need to fight. We are fight for Israel. We are fight for normality. We are fight for the Western
Estamos
world.
listos para enfrentar. Vamos a pelear en contra de la maldad. Muchas gracias por estar aquí reunidos. Y vamos a continuar en este momento haciendo un esfuerzo.
I'm sorry, since as a member of the Security Cabinet, I need to go to the Security Cabinet, but in the following time that when we will meet, we will also
No vamos a estar comunicando y haciendo reuniones cada cierto tiempo para poder discutir ese tema.
From today we have rockets from Lebanon. We have some terrorists that from Lebanon also entered to Israel. We have Hamas that want to come with a boat from the sea to another areas in Israel. We have another attack.
Tenemos que defendernos acorde a otros ataques en contra de esos terroristas.
But next time, of course, I will allow to have a question as well.
En la próxima
So thank you for
reunión
joining
vamos
us
a
and thank
poder
you, George.
responder a
Thank you,
todas las
Minister.
respuestas. Muchas
And since
gracias.
we had a change of schedule, Major Levy Weiss will have to leave in a few minutes, so we'll
En
have
estos
time
momentos
for
tenemos
just two
que
questions
retirarnos en
for
unos
her.
minutos, pero vamos a
So
responder unas cuantas
the ones
preguntas.
who raise their hands, please
Todos los que quieran hacer preguntas
direct the
pueden levantar
question
sus
to
manos.
Major Weiss. Gabriela
Gabriela,
Vega,
por favor. Gabriela Vega.
1 second, we'll unmute you. Can you hear us? No, we can't hear you.
No podemos escucharla. Estamos
No, I'm
teniendo
sorry, we can't hear you.
una reunión,
Ibrahim?
una conferencia de preguntas, una corta conferencia de preguntas.
Ibrahim, please unmute yourself.
No? You can.
Oh,
Yeah,
now we
okay,
can hear
okay.
you,
Ahora
Gabriela.
podemos
Ibrahim,
escucharte.
Thank
wait
you.
a second.
Thank you.
We'll start with Gabriela and we'll move
Empezaremos
back to
con
you in a
Gabriela.
second. Gabriela, go ahead.
Gabriela, cuéntanos.
Thank you very
Muchas
much.
gracias.
I'm Gabriela Vega
Soy
from
Gabriela Vega
EcoTV
por
Panamá.
EcoTV Panamá.
And my question
Mi
was
pregunta es
directed to the subject
dirigida
of the hostages.
acerca de
We
los
didn't get a
rehenes.
lot of
No tenemos mucha
information from
información
that, but
sobre eso,
we
pero
have a
queremos
civilian actually
un
that
ciudadano que ha
rumored
sido
to be one of those hostages.
que ha
So
sido
how
tomado
can
como uno de los
countries,
rehenes.
relatives know what is the situation with
Así
them,
que
or
queremos
if
saber cómo
there are,
podemos saber cuál es la situación de
negotiations
estos
to
rehenes y cuáles
release
las
them. If you
negociaciones
can
que se están
tell us something about
realizándose.
that, Major Wise, how are you dealing that
¿Cómo están
thing with
lidiando
the
con
hostages,
con el tema de
how
los
to release
rehenes?
them, or is there a plan?
¿Hay algún
What
plan? ¿Qué
information can you
información
give
pueden
us?
darnos
And
hacia
thank you.
nosotros? Y muchas gracias.
Okay, 1 second, we'll
Ok,
unmute,
un momento, por favor.
Lo. Lo.
Okay, I hope everyone can hear me.
Espero que todos me estén escuchando.
We can hear you.
Podemos escucharte.
So I've seen several questions
Tengo
about
unas
the
unas pequeñas
in the chat.
preguntas
So
acerca de
I
los
addressed
rehenes.
at least from the military perspective.
Así que quiero saber un poco
By
sobre la
saying, I think
perspectiva
that for
militar.
obvious reasons,
Sé que por
we
obvias
can't at this
razones
stage
no
elaborate
podemos
too much about
saber mucho
IDF plans
acerca
or
de sus
anything along
planes
those
y
lines.
qué
What I can
qué
say,
opciones
though,
van a
is
tomar.
that we are
Pero
committed
queremos decir que
and, of course,
estamos
dedicated
comprometidos
to bringing
y
these hostages
dedicados
home,
de
regardless of what country
de
they came
devolver a estos rehenes al lugar
As I said
de donde
before,
vienen y de donde
this
son.
is tragic,
Esta es
it
una
is
tragedia y
horrific.
es horrible por el momento, por la situación en la que
We are
estamos
all worried
pasando.
and losing
Todos
sleep about
estamos
our
preocupados y no
friends,
podemos
about our
dormir por todos estos
families,
amigos,
and
familias
without being able,
que
again,
no
I
tienen
think it's clear that I can't elaborate beyond that in any great deal on an operational level, but we are focused on
estamos
this, and
enfocados en
it is a
eso.
top
Es una
priority
prioridad principal
for the
para
military
los
and the
militares
country
de
at
que
this
ellos
time.
puedan regresar a sus casas por el momento.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
Muchas gracias.
Is your hand up, Ibrahim?
Ibrahim.
Okay, so we'll move to Ross, Latino.
Vamos a recibir una pregunta acerca de Ross Latino.
Yeah, so the Wall Street Journal has reported that top officials with Hamas and Hezbollah have indicated that they were involved in planning with Iran, and that Iran was involved in a meeting on last Monday.
Queremos saber acerca de que Islam ha estado involucrado en el último mes.
You guys have to the extent of Iran's involvement in the attack?
Well, what I can share, and of course, I'll allow the MFA here to jump in after. What I can say is that we
Lo que
know
podemos decir es de
historically
que
Iran has been a very,
históricamente
very strong
Irán ha
supporter of
sido un
Hamas,
soporte
has
muy
provided
fuerte
Hamas with considerable financial support and other kind of support. And
que nos ha
naturally, we
apoyado
do believe
financieramente.
that Iran plays a role in what Hamas and the actions that Hamas is carrying out.
Y
But
y están financiando lo que jamás está
from the military perspective,
utilizando.
I can't provide any additional
Pero no
information
podemos darte
beyond
información
that
extra
right
por el
now, and
momento.
I leave the floor to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs if they'd like to add more to that. And on that note, again, I thank you all for your time. I unfortunately need to leave at this stage, but certainly am available through normal IDF channels for anyone else. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Major Weiss, for your time.
Muchas gracias por
for
tu
your
tiempo,
message.
Lady Weiss, por tu tiempo.
Before we add on with the other
Antes
questions,
de
I'll
continuar con las
just wanna
siguientes
say a few
preguntas,
things.
quiero decir unas ciertas cosas.
Since the beginning of this war,
Desde el
we've
inicio
been
de esta guerra,
receiving dozens of messages,
miles de mensajes,
solidarity
hemos
and
recibido
support
miles de mensajes
from
de
world
solidaridad
leaders, heads of states,
de
ministers
las
of foreign
cabezas del
affairs,
Estado
and thousands of ordinary people from around the
también un
world.
montón de mensajes
Those
de
messages,
personas extraordinarias a través del mundo.
are heartwarming and very important for us.
Esto es muy importante para
Most
nosotros.
of those official messages condemn Hamas, condemn
Queremos
this horrible
condenar
terror
a
attack.
Hamas a este orden.
Many countries also
Muchos
stated that Israel has a
países
right
también
to
han
defend itself
mencionado
and to defend its citizens. We really appreciate the international
queremos
support.
agradecer el soporte internacional.
It's important today, and it will
Vamos a
continue to be
continuar,
important
seguir
in the future.
apoyándolos ustedes en
It's
el futuro.
It's very important
Es muy
for us
importante para nosotros
say
decir
we
que
are at
nosotros estamos en una
This is
guerra.
a war
Esta es
against a
una
terror organization.
guerra en contra de
Our main
una
goal
organización
is to
terrorista
ensure that Hamas and other terror organizations in the Gaza
contra
Strip
Hamas.
will not ever
No
have
vamos a
the capability to
permitir
do this kind of atrocities again.
que vuelva a pasar esto otra vez.
We obviously have a goal to
Obviamente
liberate
tenemos una meta
dozens
de,
of,
para liberar
civilians and soldiers
los
that
miles
have
de
been
civiles
kidnapped
que
and
están
been held
secuestrados por la
Hamas
organización
and
Hamas.
other terror organization. The responsibility for the well-being and the
Hay
safety
una
of those
responsabilidad por la seguridad de estas personas
Israeli
secuestradas
citizens are on the hands of the
en las
Hamas.
manos de Hamas.
This will not be
Esto
a
no va a
short
ser
war. This has
una guerra
nothing to do
corta.
with other military
Estamos
operations that
con
we
las
had in the
operaciones
past.
militares.
This is a long
Esa es una
war
larga
against
guerra
terrorism,
de terrorismo
and I can
y
assure you
puedo asegurarles
we will win
que vamos
this
a ganar
war.
esta guerra.
Israel left the Gaza Strip 18 years ago. We have no intention of going back. We had no intention of going
No
back.
estamos
But
con la
we will
intención de
not,
retroceder
and
el
I
tiempo.
repeat, we will not allow this
No vamos a
reality
permitir
to continue.
que esta realidad
So this is my
continúe.
statement. We have
Entonces, estas
about
son mis
10 more minutes
declaraciones.
for
Tenemos 10
questions,
minutos
and
para
we'll
las
start with
preguntas.
Peter. Peter, please unmute yourself.
Quiero agradecerles por la oportunidad. Primero que nada, quiero decir que estamos manteniéndonos fuertes en estas horas difíciles. Queremos dar la solidaridad a estas personas jóvenes. Mi pregunta es, cuando vemos estas imágenes fuertes y estas atrocidades, ¿ustedes planean anotar esos crímenes piensan condenarlos a esta organización criminal Primero que nada, muchas gracias por tu apoyo.
It's very important for us, as I said before. I don't think there's any court in the world that can deal with these
No creo
kinds
que
of
nadie pueda
atrocities.
lidiar con
It's
estas
more than that.
atrocidades. Es más que
Since
eso.
Israel left the Gaza Strip 18 years ago, Hamas and other
Desde
terror
hace
organizations have
18
launched
años,
around
Hamas
100,000 missiles
ha
and
mandado
rockets towards
miles
Israeli
de
cities and towns.
misiles.
Each and every rocket is a double war crime.
Es una
Both of
doble guerra
the
actualmente.
aiming on civilians from one side and using civilians in Gaza
Por un lado
as human
tienen
shields on the other
civiles en
side.
Gaza.
So we are talking about at least 200,000 war crimes that were committed by
Tenemos miles de crímenes que han sido
Hamas and the other terror organization in the Gaza Strip even before we started this war. We will get to this decision after we'll finish the war. The most important part now is to ensure the safety
Lo más importante
of
ahora
our
es garantizar
people
la
who
seguridad
who
de
live
todas las
around the
personas que
Gaza
están
Strip,
en las
to
calles
liberate
para liberar
each and
a
every
cada persona que ha
hostage
sido tomada
and
como
to make
rehén
sure that each terrorist
y asegurar
that
que todos los
participated,
terroristas que han
planned,
participado
financed this
en esta operación
will pay the full price.
van a pagar
for
el
what they
precio
did.
completo de lo que hicieron.
Next question, I
Siguiente
see
pregunta, por favor.
DG24 Romania.
Hola, muchas gracias por tomar mi pregunta. Quiero empezar expresando mi solidaridad por todas las personas que están viviendo en esta situación.
shares a bit of the sorrow because our Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced this morning that a Romanian Israeli soldier has been killed
Esta
in the
mañana
fighting
el
against
ministro ha dicho que
Hamas and
los
terrorism.
soldados de
I
Armenia
would
han
like to
sido
ask you also a
asesinados.
question about the people kidnapped. Do
Quiero
you
hablar sobre
have
las personas secuestradas.
any toll, any list according to nationalities of those
¿Tienen
kidnapped?
alguna lista de
The
todos
same
los que han
question
sido
for those
secuestrados?
that have been killed so far. Do you have an updated
¿Tienen alguna
death toll
actualización sobre eso, sobre algunos
on
rehenes?
foreign citizens? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your solidarity.
Muchas gracias por tu solidaridad.
Regarding the death toll, for now we know around
Por el
700
momento tenemos
people that were
600 personas fallecidas.
The
El ministro
also Major Vice spoke about the music festival.
va a hablar de
and
todas las personas que han sido
atrocities
asesinadas
that we
en
saw
el
there.
festival musical.
We found around 250 bodies of young people that were
Tenemos
executed
el cuerpo de 200 personas que han sido
in
asesinadas en esta área, ¿no? En el área del festival.
We saw entire
Hemos
families that
visto
were murdered in their
familias
own
enteras
homes.
que han quedado con su hogar destruido.
Kids that were murdered in their
Niños que han sido
beds,
asesinados en
and
camas.
the Holocaust survivors that were murdered while trying to escape.
Y muchos de ellos que han
Those
intentado
are
escapar.
terrible
Son
things to
cosas
see.
terribles,
We are working
pero estamos
on the list
trabajando
both of, to see that we get the full number of casualties, it will take a few more days for that.
Estamos trabajando, pero va a tomar más de días para poder tener la lista de todos los rehenes y de todas las nacionalidades. Por el momento no tenemos el número de todos los civiles y todos los militares que han sido secuestrados. Por el momento lo siento, pero no tenemos la información completa. No quiero decir muchos detalles sobre eso.
Civilians that have Israeli nationalities, we know of civilians that have foreign nationalities, and we know of civilians that have double nationality as well.
Sabemos de algunos civiles que tienen media nacionalidad, nacionalidad completa y doble nacionalidad.
Thank
Muchas
you.
gracias.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Tengo dos preguntas. La primera es acorde sobre la identidad de aquellas personas que lanzaron fuego cruzando el borde.
But Palestinian Islamic Jihad claimed responsibility. So can we parse out who that was?
¿Podemos saber quiénes fueron las personas que hicieron ese atentado? Y la segunda es, considerando,
or I guess maybe not a decision yet, but is there any consideration of the possibility of
¿hay alguna
retaking
posibilidad o están
Gaza
considerando
in order to
retomar
prevent further terrorist attacks on
y
Israel?
seguir?
Thank you, Anna. I'll start with the first question. There were few incidents
Sobre la primera
near
pregunta, han habido
the
algunos
north border of
incidentes
Israel, the border with
sobre
Lebanon.
lo que pasó
At
en
least
el
one of them
borde.
had a direct involvement of Hezbollah, shooting rockets in the east side of the border, close to Har Dov. It's the Mount Dov in the east side of the border between Israel and Lebanon. There were other incidents that, as far as I know, cannot
Han habido
say
varios
who
incidentes que no
directly,
podemos decir directamente
which
qué
terror
organización
directly
criminal ha sido
responsible, but I
responsable
would
de
say
eso, pero
that
podemos decir que
Hezbollah, you cannot do anything in the south of Lebanon without
no pueden
the
hacer, pero
authorization
sabemos
of
que no
Hezbollah.
pueden hacer nada
So
en esa
even
zona
if it's another
sin
Palestinian
tener
terror
alguna
organization,
consecuencia.
it's with the green light of Hezbollah. We sent a very clear message to Hezbollah
Hemos
and to
enviado
the state of Lebanon.
un claro
They will pay
mensaje a
devastating
Hezbollah.
price if they'll use this opportunity to attack Israel. We will know how to defend ourselves.
Ahora ya sabemos cómo
And
defendernos.
we will win this war.
Y nosotros vamos a
And we
finalizar
advise
esta
them
guerra.
not to try us, not at this time.
Y ellos no nos van a ganar, no esta vez.
I'm sorry, what was your second question?
¿Cuál fue tu segunda pregunta? Repítemela, por favor.
One second. I remember, sorry.
Ok, ya recuerdo la posibilidad de poder tomar a Gaza. Vamos a hacer todo lo posible para poder defendernos y tener la seguridad.
The border between Israel and the Gaza Strip, and to destroy the terror infrastructure.
Y nosotros queremos destruir la infraestructura de la organización terrorista Hamas. Estamos viendo muchas posibilidades, pero vamos a hacer lo que sea necesario para poder terminar con esto. Lo que pasó en el pasado no va a volver a pasar en el futuro. Esta es una nueva realidad y no estamos permitidos, no vamos a permitir que Hamas nos quite esa posibilidad y nos ataque miles de civiles otra vez. Vamos a movernos de pregunta a Leonardo Carvajal.
Fernando.
Quiero saber cuál es la posición de las autoridades palestinas, porque hemos escuchado lo que ha pasado en Gaza, pero no hemos escuchado lo que Hamas ha dicho. Mi pregunta es, queremos hablar sobre el doctor Israel que está desaparecido. Y queremos saber sobre ese doctor, si nos puede decir algo sobre ese doctor que está desaparecido. Lamentablemente no puedo decir, no tengo la información de esta información. En los siguientes días
saying that we are disappointed with their reaction is the understatement of the year. The fact is that I cannot understand anyone, no matter where it comes from, what his faith or what his nationality, that sees this kind of horror in the photos and the visuals that we saw of the brutal terror attack and not condemn it. On a personal level, I'm sickened of people trying to avoid condemning this kind of atrocities. It's a very clear message. If you do not condemn this kind of terrorism, you're part of the problem. You're giving a green light to those monstrous animals that slaughtered and executed civilians just because they're Israelis. We'll move on to the next questions. I'm sorry, I cannot. PBS NewsHour, sorry.
Yes, thank you for calling on me. Can you tell me, is the Israeli
Otra
government
pregunta.
trying to negotiate with Israel or other
¿Puede
countries to get
decirme
Hamas
si
to
usted
free
ha negociado con
the hostages?
otros países
We are
para
not negotiating
defenderse
with anyone at this
con
time.
Hamas?
We are in a war, and I think that this is not the time for negotiation.
No vamos a tener ninguna negociación para salvar a los
We are
rehenes.
still trying to secure
Nosotros
our border to find out if there are any
estamos
other
buscando
Hamas terrorists on Israeli territory, and to find people that are injured or even dead in the area. We are not talking about
No vamos a hablar acerca de negociaciones
mediations at this
por el
time.
momento.
I'm sorry, but I do have time for one
Lo
last
siento, pero
question.
tengo tiempo para una pregunta más.
Dennis, I'm sorry, that's the last, the one on the left. Your name is, I don't know how to pronounce it, so.
Yes, hello, this is Daniel Steinfurt from Neue Zürcher Zeitung. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, no, this is not what I had in mind, but yes, Daniel.
Daniel,
are
¿te
you
podemos
on
escuchar?
camera?
Yes, sorry. Okay. So my question
Mi pregunta
is, the EU has announced to suspend all payments to the Palestinian side for the time
¿Quién se va a
being.
encargar de pagar?
In Brussels, it has been said that all aid would be put to the test. And Germany is also stopping all payments for the time being. Are you satisfied with that measure? Is there something you would expect further from the Europeans?
I think we heard a very clear message from the European Union and from all the country members, the state members of the European Union of support of Israel. We've seen events in different countries, such as France and Germany. In Germany itself, the Israeli flag was raised on the municipality of Berlin, among other events that were in solidarity with Israel. And we saw that in Paris, and we saw that in Austria and in the Czech Republic and many other countries. Regarding the stopping the payments to the Palestinians, I think we've seen in the past that what the payments of the European Union to the Palestinians go to. There is a report by the European Union stating that the textbooks of the Palestinian Authority that are being paid by the European Union are full of messages of anti-Semitism and incitement for violence and terrorism. And I'll repeat that. European Union was financing textbooks of the Palestinian authorities that were full of anti-Semitism and incitement for violence and terrorism against Jews. This is a terrible thing. I can't understand how Europe itself and the European countries can support anti-Semitic propaganda. And I'll put it in this, and I'll add to that 80 years after the Holocaust. This propaganda, those textbooks are the root of the Palestinian terror against Israelis. Young people are being taught, educated to hate Jews and to murder Jews. Those are the textbooks that the Palestinian Authority uses, and those are the textbooks that the European Union are paying for. So I'm very happy with the decision to review those payments. I think that the entire international community should review the way that they see the conflict here. The images that we saw in the last 48 hours should never be forgotten.
En ese momento el ministro de Israel está agradeciendo por todo el apoyo internacional. Está mencionando que están trabajando arduamente para poder defenderse contra la organización criminal Hamas. También ha declarado que no está en mente negociar para recuperar o para salvar a los rehenes. Quieren trabajarlo de manera independiente y por el momento no han mencionado cuál es el plan que van a realizar para ello.